So just the other day, I was looking at an article about travel. Keep in mind, it was probably a sponsored article, but it said that luxury and experiential travel bookings were actually doubling year over year.
Yeah, and that's something that you and I have been talking about for years, and that is the small ship and luxury trips are in very, very high demand. But doubling year over year, even to me, that was surprising. And even if it's not actually doubling, but still, it's growing super fast.
It is really. Hello and welcome, fellow adventurers. You're listening to the Travel Inspired podcast, or better yet, hopefully watching it on the Travel Inspired YouTube channel, which is way more fun. We are your travel agent hosts and best-selling cruise authors, Rob Kerri Stuart, coming to you from the redesigned CMV studio in Orlando, Florida. And this is episode number 172, how to choose the best river cruise line for your trip.
Yeah, now we all know that summer is the busiest time of the year to travel, but this year, the stretch between Memorial Day and Labor Day lasts 106 days, which is the maximum possible, and a calendar quirk that won't repeat until 2037. And guess what? Travelers are taking full advantage of this.
They are, and it's the, I don't know if there's an official travel season for summer, but that seems to be it.
Yeah, that's summer.
But for this to occur, well, it can start earlier or later. Memorial Day has to occur on the first available day, and Labor Day has to occur on the last available day. And I know for some of you up north, that's official pool open season.
Yeah, it is.
I know that was the case when I was growing up back in the 70s in beautiful St. Louis, Missouri.
I do think that there are some restrictions, but most people up north do this thing that we're not familiar with down here, and that is they winterize their pools. I will say there are times like this last week here in Orlando, it would have been nice to just ice ours down.
Okay, full disclosure, I looked up about 3 different ways. You can have a heat evaporator, and this is one I didn't think of. They said run the filter at night because it'll circulate cooler air.
Oh,
so maybe we'll try that.
You know what?
Tonight.
Maybe we should try that. That's actually a good idea. I like it.
Yes.
Okay, on to travel.
On to the travel, on the main topic. So although we can sell pretty much any river cruise line out there, we have 8 that we specifically work with. And there's even one where you don't need a passport because they operate in the U.S. So how many of you can name 8 ocean cruise lines, much less river cruise lines?
I know. So we created our list for you, and it's in no specific order other than the fact that the first 2 are who we actually sell the most of.
And these are 2 that we've been working with since day 1 in June of 18 when we started.
And these 2 are Viking River Cruises and Ama Waterways.
Now, we've been working with them, back in our franchise days, since 2012.
I want to say like
2012, I think
2013.
It was.
Yeah, river cruising was just up and coming at that point.
And that was all the prediction back then. We bought into a franchise in 2012, and everybody was talking river.
But nobody had really gone on one.
It took like 6 to 8, maybe 9 years before the rest of the travel agent kind of industry caught up to it.
That's not how it is now.
No, it's the hottest.
Yeah, and that's why there are a lot of river cruise companies.
So the rest of the lineup we work with are Avalon, Amadeus, Uniworld, Tauck, Riviera, and American Cruise Line. And as you may have guessed, American Cruise Line is one that cruises the rivers of America, meaning no passport needed. Well, if you're a U.S. citizen, of course.
Yeah, of course. Well, and a lot of people like that because maybe they can't travel across the pond.
Or they don't want to fly. Yeah, they don't want to fly.
Exactly. So now, in a world of Google and now all these AI tools, how do you know which one to pick for you and your family? And spoiler alert, the AI tool hasn't been on the ships, and it is only as good as the outdated information that it can find on the internet or just marketing ploys.
Well, and that could also be from people that are talking about river cruise lines and they've never been on one.
Yeah, and we know a lot of people like that.
We unfortunately do. So the first cruise line we're going to mention is Viking, and what they really did 16, 17 years ago is they put river cruising, specifically European river cruising, on the map. Okay, pun intended, but it's really the truth. So much so that I easily have their slogan memorized, and that is, spend less time getting there and more time being there.
What was that accent?
That was my mixed European accent.
Okay, that was interesting.
Yes.
But that is the slogan.
And clearly not practiced.
Well, and something you heard all the time if you watched a show on PBS called Downton Abbey. We did not, but I'm impressed you have that memorized.
Well, it was all the commercials, and long story short, we started looking at them like, oh, we don't watch PBS. technically we watch the travel stuff on PBS.
We do.
We never watched Downton Abbey.
No. Now, Viking became so successful at what they do, they ended up changing their name from Viking River Cruises to Viking Cruises because they expanded into ocean ships.
So let's talk about, and we're going to break these down. Who is Viking's target customer? It's really the line for the traveler who wants, I will say, and I'm going to say this in an interesting way, understated Scandinavian elegance. So think IKEA, a very no-nonsense approach to a trip like this. No kids on board, which usually there aren't on river cruises, but Viking doesn't allow it.
So their cabins are going to be super clean and modern, very like a light, airy aesthetic. Your excursions are included, and that's the same with all of the river cruise lines. And so we're not going to really go too much into that. But their ships tend to hold more guests than the other river cruise lines, which means they have some cabins that are very, very small. So you need to choose wisely. I know some people who absolutely love Viking. They love the aesthetic. They love how clean it is. And here's kind of a fun fact. Their ship designs on the interior look identical across their entire fleet of river cruise ships. So if you're on one ship and you go to the next one, you may not realize that you were on a different ship.
Well, and that's, again, excluding American Cruise Line. We go to a River Cruise Expo in Europe every year. And so we've sailed on a lot of these, but we tour every single ship that is there. And again, if you have two Viking ships side by side and they just take the name off, you have no idea which one you're getting on. And that's for a reason that if something happens and the water level is too low to go through a specific place, the passengers can basically trade ships.
Yeah, they just swap.
And just go into the same exact cabin.
Yeah, it's actually kind of a smart system for them.
It's brilliant. So now AMA Waterways is a completely different vibe. So think living room, different decor. It's very warm and inviting, just hanging out. So AMA means love, and the company started as a family company. Now, one thing to keep in mind is the founder of AMA Waterways was the one that designed all the ships for Viking.
Yeah, so go figure. Yeah. But here's what I love, though. The AMA ships, all of them have their own personality. Yeah. They seem to be a little more lively. You have the chef's table experience, which I know a lot of them do.
We love that.
But I feel like with AMA Waterways, it's great for couples. It's great for friend groups who just like want to stay together and have kind of that living room feel at the end of the evening. And it's also a really natural fit for full ship charters and affinity programs. So it does make it, they're like a great partner for those type of themed sailings. And AMA, to me, it's just comfortable. Every time, and we've cruised with them a lot, every time we're on there, I just feel like the staff and I don't know, it just feels more comfortable. I don't know how else to put it.
Well, no,
less like hotel.
No, it is. It's the comfort level because we've already done 3 AMA cruises this year. We're doing a 4th next month. We're going to Portugal for our first time and sailing the Douro River there. But speaking of full ship charters, we're working with them on a wine-themed cruise for next July. If you're interested, we'll put that link in the bio. And the reason we are so comfortable, we personally know the founders. We know Rudy and Christine. Back during our TV host days, and that was, back in 2014 that we started, we filmed on one of their ships. And so we've known them for like 14 years at this point. And when you know the ownership and you know how they built their business, it just feels different.
I know. I think we're probably a little partial.
We are very partial, except we love all the river cruise lines. We really do.
Well, and this next one is really unique. And when you walk on board, I just think modern.
Yes. So Avalon is the value-focused choice for the traveler who wants a quality river cruise experience without the luxury price tag, which we'll talk about in a minute. So they're known for their panorama suites, where your bed is actually facing out the window or balcony. So you wake up to the view. They do offer a flexible range of excursion. Different styles. There's classic, active, discovery. I think we're the classic category. We're the easy one. And the vibe is friendly and a touch more casual than the premium lines. This is your first time river cruiser, a budget conscious couple, I guess, or the guest who wants to just try the river product before committing to a higher tier. It's a great entry point that still delivers an incredible experience. Yeah,
I've really enjoyed being on their ships because they're not as IKEA Scandinavian, sleek, but they're also not as like over decorated as this next one I'm going to share with you.
This is the one.
It's kind of like a happy medium. Again, all of these, they all go to the same destinations and they include excursions and all those things.
And a lot of times you're going to raft up. So you might be on one cruise line and then two others dock next to you. You can kind of walk in.
Yeah. And this is one, if you're ever rafted up to one of these ships from this cruise line, I highly recommend that you just like poke around a little bit.
And this is a cruise line that we've experienced for the first time back in March.
Yeah. So this river cruise line is Uniworld. And this is for that traveler who wants that over the top, a boutique hotel luxury, and you're not even going to blink at any price. Mm-hmm. So each ship has its own individual design, and it is richly decorated, like rich.
Yes.
So think castles and all the ornate stuff you can think of. Like
think late 19th century fabrics and decorations. That's a good one.
That's a great way to do it. I mean, you're going to see some amazing art. I remember every time we'd walk down the hall, they had some beautiful artwork. And then there were in the bar area, there was art. I mean, it's a crazy aesthetic and it feels like a floating palace. That is the best way to describe it.
Yeah, I would agree.
The service is definitely highly personalized. And here's something unique. Nearly everything is included. Unlike the other ones, all your gratuities are included, beverages throughout the day, not just at lunch and dinner, and of course your excursions. And the food quality, I felt like it was a little step up.
Oh, it was. I would agree.
Yeah. So this is for if you're like that discerning luxury traveler and you notice details, you want to be pampered, and you want kind of that boutique-y feel with a crazy guest experience, I feel like Uniworld would be a great ship for you.
Yeah. So next up is a cruise line we have yet to experience as far as a cruise, but we have toured the ships. Again, we get to see all these ships every year in March at our River Cruise Expo in Europe. And this is called Amadeus. And this is a quieter, family-owned European line for the experienced traveler who wants authentic, I would say, continental atmosphere, a strong value. They do tend to attract much more of an international guest mix, which gives the onboard experience. It's way more of a European feel than an Americanized one. The ships are comfortable, well-run with they have a really good reputation for music. And what a lot of people go to this brand for is cultural programming. So this is your seasoned river cruiser. They've done the mainstream lines and they want something a little bit different. Or the traveler who specifically wants to be among the European travelers rather than a predominantly North American crowd.
Yeah, and you make a good point too, because when you are on Viking, Ama, or Avalon, you're mostly traveling with people that are from the United States.
Correct.
It's very rare to have people not from the United States on there. Okay, this next one is one of my favorites.
Of course it is.
I know, and that is Tauk. So this is one of the top of the all-inclusive guided traveler for somebody who wants everything handled at the highest level. I would put it right up there with Uniworld. Their ships are just different, but they run a very high staff to guest ratio. And they also sometimes will have multiple tour directors on board. So your cruise director on board.
Yeah.
And then they have more premium excursions that you can pay a little extra for. But if you're looking for something that's a little more exclusive, behind the scenes, just experiences you can't book on your own or that aren't on the regular options, this is for you. Now, one of the things I love about Tauk is that they also have a special program for families called Bridges. These are ideal for those multi-gen trips. And here's what's kind of cool about the Bridges programs is they guarantee kids will be on there. So if you're like, I want to take my kids on a river cruise, I think it'll be a great experience, you'll be happy to know there will be other kids on there. But this definitely has a price tag with it.
It does. And again, this is probably the best one for a multi-gen family. And let's say that you're ready to book, you're the only one with kids. They will rent kids from the villages along the way to hang out with you.
They don't do that. Don't do false advertising.
Okay, they do not rent kids, which is against the law.
It's a beautiful cruise line, though. It really is. If you have the budget, I highly recommend it.
So next up, another cruise line we have experienced, we've actually cruised with them, is Riviera Travel. They are a British-owned line, which makes it a natural fit for the traveler who wants a more UK and less Americanized onboard experience at a strong value. They are very, very popular in the UK, and they recently, in the last couple of years, have really come to work on more of a North American focus as far as guests. But their guest mix will skew heavily British, which is awesome. So think Faulty Towers and Monty Python. Or
Well, no, I think it really adds to the atmosphere, though, when you're like sitting around having pre-dinner drinks. I mean, it'll just be fun.
I'm going for the
very
accents.
UK.
I'm going for the accents.
Yeah, no, it'll be a different crowd for sure.
And the ships are very comfortable. Again, we've experienced them. The included excursions are solid. The pricing tends to be very competitive. And this is your adventurous, been there, done that river cruiser who wants something kind of off the beaten path of the usual American kind of style, or the Anglophile who just wants to have afternoon tea in a more reserved, traditional European feel.
Yeah, and one thing about Riviera Travel is that they also include premium drinks throughout the day. For some people, that's important. And right now, even before we recorded this show, I got an email that they have 50% off on some of their 2027 river cruises. And so some great pricing.
They are definitely number one when it comes to solo travelers. They highly embrace it with, you don't have the single supplement. Also, they have some cruises that are only solo, meaning if we could go, but we'd have to have separate cabins.
Yeah. They're great under, like, a lot of people do not know about Riviera. And
which is why you work with us.
Yes, because it could be the perfect fit for you.
Absolutely.
Now, this next one is American Cruise Lines. And as you can imagine, this is for someone who wants to travel and explore the rivers of the United States rather than going all the way to Europe. And they also go up to Canada. But think like Mississippi River, the Columbia, Snake River, the Pacific Northwest has some beautiful itineraries. And New England is really cool. And they do go to the Southeast. So they have a lot of really, really great itineraries. Yeah. And of course, it is an all-American product. So if that's what you're comfortable with, their ships are U.S. flagged, which is very unique. Mm-hmm. You do have an American crew, and all the itineraries are domestic. I think there's a couple that hit Canada a little bit, but for the most part, you don't need a passport for a lot of their cruises. They
also cruise around Florida. They have some really cool itineraries that go. I think one of them goes from like Tampa to Key West, which I was cool. Blown away by. The ships are going to be newer and spacious, very large staterooms, and the onboard focus is on American history, which is really cool. So this is probably one of the best ways to learn more about America in the region you're going in, because it's regional cuisine and really patriotic and cultural themes. Again, if you love history, this is for the guest who wants to see their own country, if the guests are from America, or an older client who wants the river cruise experience without the long international flights. Trust me, we get the part about the long international flights. A little side note is I want to do specifically the Mississippi River with them because my grandpa, born in 1901, was an engineer on a Mississippi riverboat. And I've never cruised the Mississippi. So that is on my bucket list.
Yeah, and I've seen these ships when I have been on some of my girls' trips up in the Northeast. Mm-hmm. And I've seen a little bit of their itinerary. It definitely is hitting the highlights, like when it goes to Boston, or you can do the leaf peeping one that's going to hit like
There's
Vermont.
Leaf peeping.
There is.
Like you're secretly looking at leaves, like they don't want you to see them.
You see them, but definitely this is a little bit of a sleeper a lot of people don't know about. And, for some people that have mobility issues and can't get on that long flight, but they still want a vacation, this could be a perfect experience for you.
So of the cruise lines we just talked to you about, which one is right for you? So there's a lot of great options. So let's make this simple. Here's the quick gut check to help you find your specific line.
So if you want elegant, grown up, no fuss, start with Viking. And if you're a culturally curious traveler who just wants it done and easy, they're a great choice.
Now, if you love food and wine and staying pretty active, you're an Amber Waterways guest. You want to bike down the paths and eat exceptionally well, but toast a great regional glass of wine at dinner, they are your go-to.
And if this is your first river cruise, or you want a quality trip without that luxury price tag, then you are going to want to look at Avalon. So you're going to wake up to that beautiful view right from your bed, and then go on and enjoy your day.
If you want over-the-top, pampered boutique, hotel luxury and details matter to you, and if you truly embrace the word bougie, Uniworld is your choice. You notice every little detail and you want everything to be beautiful.
Yeah, and if you've done the mainstream lines and want something a little more authentic, more international European feel, consider Amadeus. So if you'd rather be among Europeans rather than the American crowd, check them out.
If you want everything handled at the absolute highest level, or you're planning to do a multi-gen family trip, definitely Tauck is your choice. Zero friction, total access, and you don't have to lift a finger.
Now, if you are an Anglophile or an adventurous cruiser who wants a distinctly British, off-the-beaten-path experience, Riviera Travel is calling your name. So think afternoon tea and a different crowd.
I think they have crumpets.
They probably
I think
do.
they have
I know
crumpets.
they have tea sandwiches. Or if you'd rather explore in your own backyard, the Mississippi, Pacific Northwest, New England, maybe you don't have a passport, you don't want to go across the pond on a flight, American Cruise Line is for you.
Again, they're very patriotic, very history intensive, and totally all American. So here's the bottom line. There's no single best river cruise line. There's only the best line for you, and that's exactly what we're here for as your travel advisors. Our job is to match your travel style and your budget and your dream itinerary to the line that fits you like a glove. So all you have to do is show up and enjoy your trip down the river or maybe up the river.
Well, and for the past 4 years in a row, we've attended the annual River Cruise Conference that we have mentioned in Europe, and we've toured all of these brands and more.
Yeah.
And we've dined on all of them, and we have sailed on a handful of them. They all have their own personalities, and these are the ones that stand out. And we also know that our clients have come back and let us know what they love about them.
And as an experienced travel professional, we've worked with all of these different lines. We have our own personal contacts there we work with. I'll say most people start with Viking because they think that's the only one. Sometimes it's the right fit. Sometimes it's not.
Yeah. And a couple of things, though. I mean, you just need to find your vibe. So one of the things that I really enjoyed when we were on our Uniworld this last March was I kept saying to myself, this cruise line is not for everyone, but there were some really small things that I liked that were important to me that made me kind of say, I really like Uniworld. It was things like the size of the bathroom, the counter space, the storage. I mean, it was massive. And these are just little things that matter when you are on a 7 or 14 night vacation.
Or the room size. We've sailed the Ama Magna twice, actually. And this is the only cruise line, ocean or river, where we've sailed the exact same ship in the exact same cabin. And we chose this cabin for a specific reason. And next year, our full ship charter is on her brother ship, the Amaruti, because they have some of the largest cabins on a river cruise ship. And we think it's the perfect ship for people new to river cruising because it's bigger than most ships. It has a full-size pickleball court. And the cabin was so big, I could live there for 4, 5, 6 weeks.
No, I mean, it was
the drawer space, everything.
The drawer space, everything. But if you haven't tried river cruising, or if it's overwhelming with all the different choices between the cruise lines, the ships, the itineraries, let us take away all that stress and let's just get on a call.
Or maybe you're listening to this and you're like, I didn't think there was more than one. Clearly, we've shown you, again, our favorites that we work with. So until next time, I'll leave you with this. Stop scrolling and start going.
Yeah, and let's get you on the river in the river cruise ship for you.